The new GoPro HERO seems to be an attempt by GoPro to save market share. It has the same easy-to-use touchscreen as the HERO 5 and HERO 6, but at only $200, how does this compare to its more expensive brothers? In the box, we don't find a whole heck of a lot. There's the camera, the frame to mount the camera in, two adhesive mounts, a buckle mount, that's what holds the camera on to the adhesive mounts, and a USB 2 Type-C cable. There is also a battery for the new GoPro HERO, which is thankfully exactly the same battery that you've put into a HERO 4 or HERO 5 and a HERO 6, which would be expected because they do share the identical form factor, but given GoPro's track record of changing batteries every time they launch a new camera, it is not a guarantee. The other thing that's great is to see a budget level camera from GoPro with a removable battery. In the past, their HERO camera from 2014 and their HERO Plus cameras did not come with removable batteries. Externally, the HERO looks identical to the HERO 5 and very, very similar to the HERO 6. The difference there is that while the HERO 5's mode button has a highlight tag button on it, and that's what the HERO has as well, the HERO 6 in fact has a power symbol on the mode button. This hints that there is a lot of similarity between the HERO and HERO 5, something that we'll see repeated when we get to image quality. The lens on the front of the camera is replaceable just like it was on the HERO 5 and HERO 6. You simply push in and twist. This means that if you want to use it with external lenses like the Polar Pro neutral density filters, you can. It also means that if you ever scratch the lens in your camera, it's very, very easy to replace. It also is what needs to be removed if you're going to place the camera in the super suit because you want to take it over its waterproof rating of 10 meters. And that's exactly the same waterproof rating as both the HERO 5 and HERO 6. And because they share the same form factor, if you do want to take them deeper than that 10 meter rating, you simply put them into the super suit, which is the same for all of the cameras. And this is really, really great to see. There is all of the accessories that work with the HERO. The new HERO work with the HERO 5 and HERO 6, which makes their ecosystem really, really easy to understand. And it means that there's no different accessories for different cameras. The one thing that I have noticed with my new HERO is that after a day, the LCD screen seems to be picking up scratches very, very quickly. Now, I'm not sure if this is me noticing it more because that LCD screen was so perfectly crystal clear when I got it, or if in fact GoPro has changed the screen covering that they're putting on the back of the cameras, perhaps going to a cheaper material or a cheaper tile of glass than was put on the back of the HERO 5 and HERO 6. When we dive into resolution, it's clear why the HERO is $100 less than the HERO 5 and half the price of the HERO 6. The camera only has two resolution options, 1080p and 1440. Both of these resolutions can be shot at 30 or 60 FPS, and that is it. In terms of photos, the camera shoots 10 megapixel still photos as compared to 12 megapixels on the HERO 5 and HERO 6. What is very interesting when you start diving around in the menu system is that the HERO will shoot that 1080p and that 1440p in both medium, narrow, and wide fields of view, indicating that perhaps the sensor that is on board the HERO is a much higher resolution than the maximum resolution the camera will shoot, because it seems in testing that when you crop to a narrow field of view, there's much more resolution there than simply cropping in that 1080p image, indicating that perhaps the limited resolution is a firmware lock and not necessarily a lock by the hardware that's on board the camera. Now, some people are going to see the 1080p 60 maximum resolution as a deal breaker because the camera doesn't shoot 4K. For me, I'm okay with 1080p 60. This is basically my go-to resolution whenever I shoot with any of my GoPro cameras. It's a nice frame rate. You don't sacrifice too much image quality by shooting at that frame rate. It is a nice resolution. It's an easy file size to deal with. Basically, any laptop can play it back, any laptop can edit it, and you can render it out in reasonable amounts of time on basically any type of hardware. You can play it back on your phone without any troubles. Quick Stories can edit it without any trouble. It's a really nice all-round resolution. Higher frame rate would have been good, but really you lose so much image quality when you start shooting at 120 frames per second on a Hero 6. It's not really worth shooting at that. So I find that most of the time I end up shooting 1080p 60 on my Hero 6 anyway. So, well, it would be nice to have options there. I'm not that sad about them, especially considering the camera comes in at half the price of a Hero 6. As you explore the menu further, you'll find even more places where the functionality of the Hero is limited. One of these is in the time-lapse settings. The Hero's only option for delay between photos in both time-lapse photo and time-lapse video mode is half a second. Now, this is obviously not a limitation put in place by hardware, as extending the delay between photos would, if anything, put less demand on the hardware, but this instead seems to be a limitation put in place to allow there to be some differentiating features between the Hero and Hero 5. The Hero also doesn't support professional features like ProTune and raw photo capture like its big brothers, the Hero 5 and Hero 6. However, the big killer feature of the Hero 5 and Hero 6 is present, and that's the in-camera image stabilization. And the in-camera image stabilization of the Hero is very, very close to the in-camera image stabilization of the Hero 5. So you're not going to get those gimbal-like results that are possible with the Hero 6, which we talked extensively about in the Hero 6 review. You can find up in the corner. But you are going to get at least somewhat stable footage out of your new Hero. So as you can see from the test footage, the Hero 5 and Hero 6, or Hero 5 and Hero stabilization are very, very similar, while the Hero 6's stabilization does appear to be slightly more silky smooth. This transitions us nicely into image quality. I talked about it before, why I'm okay with the camera's limited resolution of 1080p 60, and because of those reasons, I am going to be shooting all of my test footage at resolutions that the Hero can shoot. Looking at the images from the Hero and the Hero 5, they are extremely close. The Hero 6 images look slightly more crisp, with a little bit more saturation in most of the shots I got, while the stabilization of the Hero 6, like mentioned earlier, it does appear to be better. But the Hero 5 and Hero shots seem to be very, very close in how they look. In low light, this trend continued, with the Hero 6 the clear winner, despite some very, very odd white balance choices once the room went completely dark and is only illuminated by that lighter. The Hero 5 and Hero traded blows, with the Hero 5's image being quite sharp but very, very grainy, while the Hero's image is much softer but has very little noticeable image or very little noticeable noise. Although all three of these images are extremely impressive for small form factor action cameras and are a testament to how far this sector of the camera market has come over the last few years. In conclusion then, is the new GoPro Hero going to bring back GoPro stock price to almost $86 a share? No, I don't think so. Is the Hero a camera with image quality on par with the Hero 5 with a pared down feature set and a price to match? Yes, it is. That's exactly what it is. If anything, I think this camera fits incredibly well into GoPro's lineup while retaining compatibility with all accessories of the higher end cameras, including batteries, frames, lenses, and even port covers. For $200, the camera is not a deal, but it will let you capture that wide-angle, vivid GoPro look in the same easy-to-use form factor with the same easy-to-use touchscreen as the Hero 5 and Hero 6 at a fraction of the price. While working on this review, the most interesting thing to me was the similarities between the new Hero and the Hero 5. It's led me to question whether or not the Hero is actually a new camera, or if it's simply old Hero 5s that have been rebranded with a new firmware. Now, I don't really know what it would mean if they were. It means you're getting a great sensor for the $200 price tag, but it might mean even more if somebody was able to take, I don't know, Hero 5 firmware and make it run on a Hero. It's definitely not something that I am capable of doing, but I think for me, the next thing might be to do a teardown of a Hero and Hero 5 and try and see if there's any internal differences between the two cameras. Definitely could be interesting, but it does mean maybe perhaps sacrificing over $500 in cameras, so I'm not super keen to take it on without, well, at least a lot of people out there wanting to see it. But let me know if you want to see the Hero and Hero 5 torn down. Leave it down in the comments below. If you want to see my review of the Hero 6, that's over there, and the Hero 5 is over there. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, get subscribed, and if you've got anything else you want to see tested around the new Hero, let me know. Leave it down in the comments below. What do you think? Will the new Hero save GoPro?